15th minutes. Do we have a motion? And a second?
I will second it.
Thank you. And a show of hands of who agrees to approve. Okay, so the minutes stand approved. And we will now have the reading of the covenant.
In solidarity with one another, we each affirm our gatherings are interfaith gatherings. We come together from diverse communities to be inspired and transformed by the rich diversity of the faith traditions. We commit ourselves to compassionate and active listening as we engage in respectful dialogue. We welcome those who might differ from us, seeking their wisdom and insights. Each of us shares in the privilege of growing in interfaith love and understanding. Our working together for a common cause brings us together in peace.
I'm not able to get number 5 through 8 in full print.
I'll read it.
Okay, thank you.
We are responsible for the work and outreach of the Interfaith Council of Contra Costa County. The governing board provides the necessary oversight and will be attentive to the elected council's ideas, wisdom, and suggestions. We will strive to support and participate in the various outreach programs sponsored and supported by the Interfaith Council. We hold ourselves to the highest ethical standards as we grow together in trust and respect for one another. Our time together is a practice of interfaith understanding, cooperation, and respect. We hope our time together will bless one another, our community, and the world.
Thank you so much. And now we will have our opening faith reflection from Ginny Ali of the Walnut Creek Baha'is.
Thank you very much. In April, as we celebrate our earth, one of God's greatest creations, with the attribute of humility. We walk on the earth. We build high towers on the earth. We bomb the earth. Does it complain? Does it say, I'm greater than you? No, it was given the attribute of humility by the Lord our God, an attribute which we also are capable of, as well as being born noble and able to be made in the image of God with all of his attributes and virtues. What do Baha'is say about the health of our environment and the earth? I quote, "The earth is one country and mankind its citizens," unquote. Mankind is the steward of the earth and all created things. What would that look like? The term mankind, man being taken from the word human, includes male and female and requires male and female working together in order to build a better world. Until that happens, we can't progress into the future. And this is for the betterment of men as well as women. What would it take to have more freedom? It would take religions working together and peoples working together with no borders, no wars, and the will to imagine peace. Baha'is believe in progressive revelation, and that can open the heart and the mind. Divine messengers with a new message appear every 600 to 1,000 years to keep and help humanity in the era that they live in, for progress spiritually and materially. How do we recognize these divine educators, messengers, and prophets? They come to us according to our capacity to understand and the era in which we live as mankind matures. They also recognize the holy books that came before and have innate knowledge, going from crisis to victory. In this day, we believe that the Bab and Baha'u'llah, who were presented to us in the mid-1800s, a time of spiritual revelation throughout the world, they bring us a message for our day, being the 181st year of the Baha'i faith. We're required to believe in one God, religion being one, and men and women being equal. And a lot of these messages have been said by the prophets before us and before this time. It's just a repetition of what we all need to learn. And this means being devoid of all prejudices and believing that we have a future of peace, but we can only change with ourselves first. We have to have the will to change individually in our families, in our communities, and our institutions. Until that happens, we're still working, with every faith community to empower the youth, especially for our futures. And now this year, the theme for Earth Day is planet versus plastics. So how can we help make this a better world this year? We can continue to recycle, to cut back on individual use of beverage containers, to plant trees, to clean litter, and encourage the junior youth to pick up in your community. That's what my grandchildren are doing now. We go out an hour a week and we just clean up all the litter in the neighborhood, and they just really look forward to it. So it's something you can teach them at a young age to not to litter and to clean up their neighborhoods. Also, our clothing, we have to be careful not to get clothing that's made with petroleum products that can last for generations and, never disintegrate in the landfill. And also, this nanoplastics get in our bodies for generations, and there's no way to get rid of it. So we have a responsibility to the future population to individually cut back on plastics this year. And I have one last quote from the Baha'i faith. To plant, I quote, "Plant in the garden of thy heart, not but the rose of love." Thank you, everybody.
Ginny, thank you so much for that wonderful, wonderful reminder. So we appreciate that.
Thank you.
Now we are fortunate enough to have our community partner report from Tania Hansen-De from the Contra Costa Interfaith Coalition. Welcome, Tania. Tania, you're muted.
Gotcha. There. Okay, how's the volume?
Perfect.
Good. Okay. Thank you so much for having me. And I really appreciate the opportunity to tell you about this organization that is often confused with Interfaith Council of Contra Costa County. Our names are so similar, and yet I think both organizations started about the same time. Contra Costa Interfaith Coalition was started in 1992 by 3 Christian churches, which kind of makes me laugh that they considered themselves interfaith. But it has been dwindling over the years, as many organizations have. But we have experienced a rebirth in the last year and a half, and have almost tripled our number of volunteers. And we do amazing work with a very tiny budget. What we do is we coordinate with caseworkers from Contra Costa County and from Independent Living Resources and from any other agencies that are that have caseworkers that have vetted their clients. So that also includes like Trinity Center, and I believe it's NAMI, the National Organization for Mental, I can't remember what the acronym is for, but we have a list of items that we can try to provide, which include all the basics that you would need to set up a home. I can tell you, for instance, that we just delivered yesterday to a gentleman that had been homeless for over a year. So we have kitchen kits that we put together that, you know, you think people go to the food bank, they get cans, they need a can opener. We have hangers. A lot of people need hangers because they've been living at a shelter or living out of their vehicle, and you know, they need something as basic as that. So we have our kitchen kits that include everything you would need to start a kitchen. We have our cleaning kits, which are a laundry basket, which with all the basics you would need to wash dishes, wash yourself, clean your home. The contents of the cleaning kits are new. The contents of the kitchen kits are gently used items. And we try to only use microwavable dishes, keeping in mind that most of our clients are often working multiple jobs to make ends meet and don't have time to really prepare meals. We source used furniture from the community. So that includes lamps and bed frames and coffee tables, you name it, everything you would need to set up a home. We also try to get used vacuum cleaners. Those are a hot item. And we have 3 sites where we store all of our items. We have a donated space in the 7-Eleven strip mall next to General Plumbing Supply in downtown Walnut Creek. That's where we keep our cleaning kits, our prepared kitchen kits, and all of our furniture. Then we have a donated space in Danville where all of our beddings are organized and prepared. So we'll send a word out, we need, you know, bedding for 2 7-year-old boys and in twin beds, and queen size bedding for mom. So, and again, a lot of that is gently sourced items. Then we also have a location in Walnut Creek where we prepare the kitchen kits. And that is literally just a backyard shed. The ladies were working on it yesterday, and they were sitting out on the deck in the sun, putting the boxes together. But we have probably about maybe 25 volunteers. Our board is made up of people representing different faiths, and also people that are not associated with any faith organization. Last year, we provided we fulfilled requests for 149 families, which represented 428 people. And we delivered to approximately about 3 people a week. All of our deliveries are done by volunteers with their vehicles. And the average age of the people, well, most of our volunteers, actually all of our volunteers, except for one, are retired. And a number of our volunteers are in their 70s, 78, 80 years old. And we pair people up to be able to make the deliveries. One of our volunteers yesterday, Mike Yale, is a Vietnam vet and can't lift, but he's got a truck. So we paired him up with Lance Littlejohn, who went out with him and helped make the deliveries. We do our biggest goal is to provide new mattresses. For us to try to preserve the dignity of those we serve, we feel that that is almost an essential. We have not been able to do that in the past, but we've been working on funding. And so far this year, I think we've been able to provide a new bed, a new mattress to all those that have requested it. We buy them through St. Vincent de Paul. And the most expensive, I think a queen set is $268. We also provide food cards. We have a couple religious organizations that donate money on a quarterly basis. So we give out about $8,000 a year in food cards to 5 case managers. And we call those the 5th week food cards. And the case workers use those at their discretion. We also provide food boxes. St. Paul's in Walnut Creek on Pentecost Sunday will be assembling food boxes that we use throughout the year. And unfortunately, we have run out of food boxes. I think one of the LDS congregations in Danville had provided us a few, but we are out until May 20th, and we give out, it comes out to 1.25 food boxes each week. So we're trying to see if we can get somebody else to fill that need. Our biggest need, honestly, is volunteers that can lift and volunteers with trucks. The way our volunteer system works for pickup of the donated furnishings and the deliveries is we send a text out, usually on Saturday, and we just say, what's your availability for next week? So it's a wonderful low impact way for people to be able to volunteer. And I love seeing the responses. I'm in Spain, you know, that's the best. I'm recovering from back surgery, can't. And then you've got people that say, I can help Monday morning, I can help Thursday afternoon. And we keep track of what vehicles they have. So then we can pair them up, check on our clients' availability, and then make the deliveries. So yesterday we had 2 trucks going out that were delivering to 3 people. And I personally am hugely inspired by the volunteers that we have. Many of them have challenges in their own lives, and yet they find a way to serve others. And I think it helps all of us to see the good in our communities. We operate on a budget, and we have no paid volunteer. We have no paid staff. We have no expenses for storage. Our only expenses are insurance and filing fees with the state and our website fee. We last year operated on a budget of $28,000, and that goes almost exclusively to furniture and you know, the mattresses and things like that. I think if I wanted to get the message across to anybody, we are an organization that not only helps those in need, but we help our community. I just got a text from a woman yesterday who's trying to liquidate her mother's 2-bedroom home in Rossmore. And we often meet people who are in stressful times. And I got one this morning from somebody who's moving out of state to Tennessee. It is hard to find homes for your furnishings, for your kitchen, for all of the items that you have in your home. And people are so relieved and so grateful when our volunteers show up and say, sure, we can take this, we can take that, we can't take this, but I'll take it for you and I'll drop it off at Independent Living Resources, or here's some other sources that can help you. So we're keeping things out of the landfill. We hear that constantly. Thank you so much. I'm so glad this isn't going into the landfill. And we're giving it new life with people who really need it. So we're the little organization that really does. And I am so proud to be a part of it, and it definitely enriches my life.
Tania, thank you so very much. We've got a couple of questions.
Absolutely.
Terri, do you want to go ahead and ask your questions?
Sure. Thank you so much, Tanya. I think that we met in Danville. Is that right, Dave? When we were at some sort of
Yes, yes, at St.
Yeah.
Timothy's. Uh-huh.
right.
Yeah, yes.
So there's I have a number of questions. I'm co-chair with Dave with ICARE, and so there are some great opportunities here that we can look at either through ICARE or all of the elected council members here who are parts of faith communities can take this back to their faith community,
Mhm.
promote it. And I know I will do that. I also am the newsletter editor for our Values in Action, so I can promote this as an opportunity for volunteerism and donations. But here are my questions and some others too. Could you put your website? Do you have a website? And if
We
so,
do. Mhm.
could you put the link in the chat and then we can use that as a way of talking more about your organization?
Absolutely.
You wanted to know about NAMI, and it's I think National Association of Mental Illness, but if I'm wrong, thank you, Andy. At first, I wasn't quite sure how your organization differed from CORE, which also has outreach, social worker people, but they work with homeless people who are without homes at the moment.
Oh,
And,
okay.
so it seems like there's a lot of, intersection. That's probably not the right word, but you're
Collaboration, maybe.
overlapping with other nonprofits like Monument Crisis Center and Trinity Center. So I'd like to know, and CORE, I'd like to know how you work with them and also how, how you coordinate with them.
Mhm.
And also, sorry, I'm throwing all these questions at you. If you get any kind of government support, or is it purely private donations? And I think those are my questions.
Well, we are happy to work with any organization that has a caseworker that vets individuals. So to be honest with you, we have not gone out to organizations like Monument Crisis Center just yet. I just gave the information to youth homes because we are limited specifically in our space on the furniture that we can take in. It's literally like 750 square feet. We have couches up on end, et cetera. I'd be happy to have a tour sometime, show people what we do. But the caseworkers have our needs list, those that know about us, and send it out to us. So we, for instance, we just got a request recently from an officer at the juvenile detention center that was saying, can I put in a request for a family? And we had said yes, and we gave them the needs list. I had the same question from a school counselor in the San Ramon Valley Unified School District. And we said, yes, of course, as long as you are a bona fide, case worker, case manager, we are happy to take any of those requests. Again, because of our limited space and the limited number of trucks we have to deliver, we're not spreading the information far and wide. But as people come to us beyond those case workers that we already work with Contra Costa County and with Independent Living Resources.
So that's where you get your people, the people that you
Right.
serve, is
Yeah.
referrals from them.
And the number of county social welfare offices is astounding. There are over 20 of them. Veterans Affairs, Health and Human Resources, Welcome Home Baby, Black Infant Health. It just goes on and on and on. So.
And these are people who already have places to live. They need, but
Correct.
they need.
Most of the people we are helping have just gotten out of shelter or just gotten off the streets. So I asked one of the longtime volunteers, Pete Banwell, I said, can you tell me about your experience when you deliver? And he said, yes, they have nothing. You walk into an apartment and they have literally nothing. And he said, it's all the time. Those are the people we serve.
Hey, Tanya,
Hi.
now might be, thank you so much for your presentation. Now might be a good time to make your pitch about finding more space.
Oh, that we are in desperate need. Thank you, Dave. The gentleman that provides us with our donated space in near General Plumbing Supply is phenomenal. It's been for well over 10 years, but we could definitely use more donated space. The ladies that do the kitchen kit programs are literally working out of a shed, and it gets very difficult for them to be able to intake more items and then prepare them. And same thing with the furniture. We could do more if we had more space. And we're at that point where if we had grants that we knew would be consistent, we might be able to look for larger space, but everything is just so tenuous. We can't let go of what we have, which is donated space. And another thing that I'd like to put out there is I am the liaison for CCI. We use the acronym CCIC at St. Timothy's Episcopal Church, and we have a barrel outside of Grace House, and people can drop off donations there, linens, gently used linens. They'll drop off pots and pans, silverware. We just ask that they alert me so I can go pick it up. In a dream world, we would have a liaison at each faith organization, and those liaisons would be able to help bring in more donations. Or, for instance, Mandy Crockett, who I suspect many of you know, Mandy organized a linens drive at her LDS group. And we got a number of gently used and brand new bedding for our project. So that kind of thing, or organizing a food drive like St. Paul's is going to be doing, where we have our specific food list and they put together food boxes. Of course, we don't have room to store them, so another volunteer has to store those food boxes for us and bring them in half a dozen at a time. But
Tania, thank you so very much. Could you make sure that you put the website and your contact information in the chat, because it sounds like there are a number of people who would like to reach you.
Oh, definitely. I put it in. Oh, it's sorry. It's Biff who had asked it. It was a direct message. I'll try to figure this out, and I'll put my email as well.
Thank you so very much.
And thank you for this opportunity. Really appreciate it.
You're very, very welcome. Just moving on, only because we have a schedule to kind of keep with. So I wanted to just let everyone know that our reputation has gone far and wide in the county. There are so many people who believe thoroughly in what we do. And consequently, we have another matching grant of $20,000 that will help keep us going. And we are also working on a number of different grants. And as Tania said, that's the name of the game, is to be able to have the wherewithal. So I encourage all of you to not only consider making an individual gift toward the match, but also your faith communities, if they want to get in their membership contributions early, that can be used toward the $20,000 matching grant. And again, it's a sign that we're doing something good. People believe in us. Okay, Terri, please give us the wonderful ICARE report.
Sorry, I'm busy saying thank you to you, Christine. Okay, this sort of ties in with what Tania was talking about. We have several projects that we need congregational co-sponsors for. Hopefully you received our latest e-blast. The good news is that if your faith community is one of the co-sponsors, you have total control almost, meaning you can control where and when you do this project. And even if you're the first co-sponsor, you can pick another faith community, maybe that you've always wanted to get to know better, and invite them to co-sponsor a project with you. I'll step back for a second, and rather than assuming that you know what ICARE is, just briefly, the elevator pitch, so to speak, is that it's an opportunity to bring two different faith communities together with the purpose of getting to know one another, plan projects together, and execute them, meaning assemble or do whatever needs to be done to get a project done, and then deliver it to people in need. And we do this through reputable nonprofit organizations like Monument Crisis Center, Trinity Center, and so on. So and it's very simple, you know, it's just a pretty simple concept, and it has proved to be very meaningful for the people involved, and meaningful for the recipients. And I'm happy to go into details later, but if you did get that e-blast, I'll just run through quickly what projects we need help with. We need congregational co-sponsors. So what that means is that if your faith community wants to support a project, then you sign up on our Sign Up Genius, and then you find another, or if there's another faith community, they sign up, then I can help, or Dave Longhurst can help you with the planning process. And then you go and do whatever the project is that's required. So the first one coming up is one that we've done several years now and has just been so fun and meaningful. And it's called Honoring Moms, and it's for Mother's Day. So, which is coming up, which means that we need somebody soon. And it's funding and putting together hygiene kits for moms. And then you can get creative by putting in, tea bags, or, special soaps or something like that. And then as well as carrying notes that children especially love to do, or anyone, people who maybe can't do other things, they can write these really beautiful little notes. In the past, we've gotten donations from Costco and from Trader Joe's, so you could be creative in that way. The rest of things can be bought at the dollar store. So that's one project. Another project that's coming up that we need help with in mid-May, is for Shelter Inc. It's an indoor painting project, and all of the paint, this one does not require any money. It requires elbow grease, so to speak. All of the paint and supplies are going to be being generously donated by Sherwin-Williams. Thank you, Cindy Bilsborough, who's been coordinating this project. And this is painting a room, a couple of rooms. Maybe you need to fill me in on this one, Cindy, if you'd like, but
it's what it is it's many rooms. It's a huge project. We're actually trying to get some media coverage too. So if you would like your congregation to get a little media coverage, this is a good one to sign up for. We are doing a tutoring room, laundry room, 3 bathrooms, and a kitchen. And if we have time, putting a second coat on a hallway. And so we're doing, on May 11th is prep day. So it's washing down walls and taping. And then we're going to paint on May 18th. The more people, the easier it will get. But Sherwin-Williams is providing paint, rollers, brushes, tape, drop cloths, everything. It was fabulous. I met the estimator and a gentleman out there, and it's super great.
Thank you. And then our next project is similar to what Tania was talking about. This is building welcome baskets for families who are moving into Hope Solutions apartments. And which is, I think, in the Martinez area. Pleasant Hill is the one that we visited. I'm not sure if there are other apartments, but what they welcome they welcome families with these baskets, and they need about 15 to 20 of them every couple of months. And there's a list in the Sign Up Genius and also on the e-blast that you got of all the different things that they're looking for, basic cleaning supplies and towels, things to get started with. So if there's, there will be this, we figured this might cost about $500. And so for 15 to 20 baskets. So you split that, $250 per basket. I don't know. I mean, you're going to have to look at it. I can't do the math off the top of my head. But I think we figured out $15 to $20 per, about $20 per basket. The next project, and that one is a TBD, that's for whoever, when we can get two faith communities together, then you decide when, you can deliver, when you can work on the project, shop, and assemble and deliver. They would be grateful for whatever they can get, whenever they can get it. And finally, it's there's Bibet addiction recovery, landscaping and beautifying grounds, looking for young volunteers, 11 to 19, to join the youth from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Danville to work together to beautify a drug-free house in Oakland. So Dave Longhurst is the person to contact for information on that. So those are projects that we need some help with for this spring, and could really, really appreciate if you could go back to your faith communities, go back to, anybody and see if you can, enlist their aid, see if they would like to participate in this, and then find other faith communities that you want to partner with. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Terri. And this is one of the reasons why donors are so interested in supporting us for all of the good work that we do. Now we will have the governing board report from Cindy Bilsborough, and there's certainly lots going on.
Thank you. I'll try to be brief so that we can still have some time for our breakout, but the governing board and advisory committee have been very, very busy this past month. So the first thing is we have a nomination of a new governing board member who has been approved by the governing board and is up for vote for you. Unfortunately, it looks like she wasn't able to make it today. Dave, do we need to have her present to have her voted in?
I don't believe we do. I don't think there's anything in bylaws that require that.
Okay. So the member that we have, let's see, oh, there it is. Let's see, I'll do a screen share. The person is Pastor Josie Asencio from the Antioch Seventh-day Adventist Church. And it is proposed that she be elected as a new governing board member. So do I have anyone who would make a motion to elect her as a governing board member? Okay, Ginny, thank you. Do I have a second? Dennis? Okay, all in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, it looks like it's unanimous. So Josie is our new governing board member. And I believe we are we up to 9 now, Dave?
No, this makes 8. So we
8.
Still need one more to get to our minimum.
So we need
quorum.
one more. So we are taking nominations for governing board. Now
here's what I found.
And we would love to have you nominate yourself or a member of your faith community.
We are already working. Sorry, we are working on one person that will be presented next month.
Fabulous. So yeah, if you could present it before the governing board.
Yes.
And then we will vet them and vote on that and then present it to the elected council. Thank you.
And just a quick note, just even if we have one more, we have the capacity to take 12 governing board members. So we would really like to fill up to 12, not to 9. So let's not stop there. Thank you.
Yes, and we want people from all faith communities and all sections of the county. So that's what we're looking for.
Terri, did you have a question?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it would be helpful if in the future, for purposes of transparency, that if we know that we want to get the EC to look at improving somebody for the board, which is a big deal, that we send information about those people ahead of time so that they can review it, so that it doesn't feel like, oh, I like the sound of that name and I like that church. So yeah, sure. And so
actually, Josie's been involved with the elected council since for the past 6 months.
okay, it would be nice to get like just a top line summary
Okay.
anyway, to remind people of who whatever the person is. Maybe it's not something ahead of time, but maybe it's just a quick reminder of who they are, where, maybe that they've been involved for the last 6 months, that kind of thing. Just wanted to throw that out
Okay.
as a suggestion.
And Terri, that's correct. You are not a member of the EC anymore, even
Right.
though you're on ICARE.
Right.
But Pastor Josie has been she is on the advisory committee. And so she has been very pivotal in assisting us in doing the work in revitalizing I4C. And so she's and I did put her name in the agenda, but not a bio on her. And I think that's a great idea. The next thing is that we have someone who is interested in becoming an interim executive director on a part-time basis, which is huge because there's not that many people who are out there looking for a part-time, maybe position as an executive director of a nonprofit. And so her name is Dr. Karen Hernandez. In the agenda, we put a link to her resume, and we would love for everyone to review that resume. We had a Zoom interview of her. She's currently living in Southern California. She has connections with Biff Barnard through URI. She was previously a fundraising executive for Habitat for Humanity. She has a wealth of experience and a PhD. So we are excited. She is coming up for an in-person interview next week with 4 of our 2 from the governing board, I believe, and 2 from the advisory committee, but we are there vetting her to see how it would be. We are not in the point of hiring a permanent executive director. Number 1, we need better funding. And number 2, we want to make sure it's somebody that's going to fit with our community, with our values, and is going to be someone that will be bring us forward, because the advisory committee has been meeting, and they are dividing up into various committees. One committee is centering on the executive director's job description and really honing what we want the executive director to do. Another one is developing plans and how to engage EC members, their congregations, and become more of an interfaith community organization, and embracing interfaith in all aspects. And I think this will be wonderful for our community. We're going to have a part reviewing our governance and bylaws and those things so that it's appropriate for what we want to do. And we're looking at becoming more involved in the URI cooperation circle. We want to better serve Contra Costa County and also developing a statement in response with regard to the Middle East crisis. Those were all topics that the advisory committee felt was important that we work on, and also go over with Dr. Hernandez as far as whether she's the appropriate one to act as an interim executive director. The agenda also gave you a survey monkey. If you want to fill that out, if there are topics that are of interest to you that you would like us to address, please respond to that. You know, breakout topics, the format of this meeting, and anything else that you think that we need to be doing as part of the governing board and the advisory committee, because that's what we want to do. So that's what I wanted to talk about. We are out of time. And so I'll turn it back over to Christine unless somebody has any questions.
Okay, we're up to our interfaith dialogue, and I hope that there's somebody who's in charge of the wonderful breakout rooms.
That would be me.
Okay, thank you. While you're doing that, let me just read. We're going to be talking about in this season when many faith traditions have special practices or rituals, for instance, fasts, ritual meals, celebrations, special services. Please share one such practice from your faith tradition and how it impacts you personally. And then we'll ask you to report back with the top 2 responses from your group.
Okay. I will put us into breakouts, and I will also put the question in the chat.
Carolyn, you might not have heard me, but I said, come on.
And Cindy is. Where's Cindy?
I'm up
Oh,
here.
so there you are. So do you have the list of like who's in the groups and, okay,
Yes. Let me get that.
no worries. And while you're doing that, we're looking for the 2 top responses from your small group. And then whoever the recorder was, please email a fuller report for the minutes.
Okay, room 1 was Carolyn Peters, Dale Weatherspoon, Dennis Wasco, and I'm sorry, Uche.
Got it. You got it right. Uche.
Yay! And I won't try the last name.
It's not that bad. You'll be surprised.
Uwahima. Himu.
So the same way the Uche is Uwahemo.
Uwahimo. Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Oh, so you're looking, I'm sorry, Cindy. I wasn't elected, but I'll go ahead anyway. And one of ours was Uche talked about his congregation back in Nigeria, and it was something very very moving. He talked about every Sunday after the service, people just get together or they invite other people to their home for dinner. And I thought that was, just a very, very nice, nice tradition. And then Dale Weatherspoon talked about they have on Pentecost, they have he and a church in Berkeley, which is essentially a white church, and his is a black church. They have they alternate in years, and every year going to one or the other, and they have a great Pentecost service, and along with the joint choir and the kids intermingle and so on, and it's very, very wonderful, especially in these days when we're trying to overcome racism. So, and let's see. Oh yeah, one other thing was it appears that there are efforts more and more to have interfaith services on Good Friday, and I know in our church, and we had 4 pastors from around our area come to our church, and we had the 7 last words, a meditation of that along with an interfaith choir. So those were things that were very moving for us.
Okay, group 2 was Felicity Grove, Ginny Ali, Ronnie Boyd, and Terri Moss.
You're muted, Terri.
You're muted, Terri.
Sorry, I couldn't get to the right screen because I was writing. We talked about the Baha'i, the Universal UU Church, and then the pagan traditions and the Jewish tradition. We don't have time to really go through each of those, but one of the things that we talked about was the comparing and contrasting of the different faith traditions, that there are similarities and of course differences. And 2 points that, that I thought were interesting and important. Just unfortunately, as we were leaving, Ronnie was asking about how Black Jews feel about slavery, since I was talking about Passover being about the Jews' freedom and, being freed from slavery in Egypt, and that's a running theme. And then Felicity was curious about more comparisons and contrasts between faith communities in terms of their internal, emotional, and spiritual introspection and journeys, because we did find contrasting positions, but also a lot of similarities. And so I thought those were two really interesting points, maybe for future conversation and interfaith dialogue.
Thank you. So room number 3 was Christine Nadeau, David Longhurst, Erica Bains, and Reza.
Yes, thank you, Miss Cindy. Group 3 was involved with Christianity and Sikhism and I call it Mormon, old Mormon Saint Ladder. I don't remember the new name for excuse me, Mr. David, and Islam. The main parts of the practices was like Easter, Bakasi, or if I say it right, Besaki, I'm sorry, Passover, Ramadan, and celebration of colors. In general, making it in 2 points, we are getting like a spider, being in tune with the routines as the life goes on. All these activities comes to break these routines and be aware of what is going on with us, with the routines, and focus more on growth and joy of life and celebration. It was just amazing, everything that was discussed. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, room 4 is Andrew Sherlock, Ben Jones, Cynthia Peters, and me.
Cynthia, you're muted.
Yeah, Cynthia. Let me see if I can help you. Okay. Well, Cynthia was going to share, but I'll go ahead. We had interesting because we had a Jewish, Baha'i, Christian Science, and Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So we had, I thought everybody seemed to have a good representation of different communities. So the Baha'i, this is their new year, and they have a lot of celebrations, kind of the formation, the anniversary of the formation of the Baha'i faith. And Christian Science, they don't do Easter eggs. Oh, Cynthia, it looks like you're unmuted now, so you can go ahead.
Oh, all right. Yes, I was going to mention about Andy's remarks about the Seder and how it really can be very different from one home to another. But all in all, it's just a very popular time of year, and with wonderful feelings amongst the different families and the way they choose to celebrate. And I mentioned that it seems like more recently, maybe last 10 years or so, that a lot of people have taken to celebrating with a Seder. And even though they may not have any particular connection with the Jewish religion, they enjoy celebrating it. And then Cindy talked about her church joining with the Catholic Church in Oakland, and they have this wonderful celebration that goes on with lots of music. In fact, even this last weekend, lots of music, including a full orchestra. So I thought that was really interesting. And evidently there is music that is composed, sounded like each year, for this Easter celebration. So that was very interesting. Of course, they're both Christian religions, but still to have the two different churches coming together is really wonderful. Thank you.
Was that it?
That's it. That's the groups.
Just
Thank
two.
you so much.
There's 4
Okay.
groups. Yeah.
Upcoming events. So announcements from the community members.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Let me go. I guess I'm maybe the new kid on the block here. So this morning, I come from Easter Hill United Methodist Church. Reverend Dale Witherspoon is my pastor. And I also come from the Center for Elders Independence. It's a medical and social services organization that's been around for almost 45 years. The headquarters of CEI is in Oakland, and we have centers across Contra Costa County and Alameda County. Our newest center is scheduled to open in West County this year, late this year or beginning of next year. And then the other newest center is in Livermore that will be covering the whole Tri-Valley area. So I came this morning because we've been doing this, something we're doing that I thought this interfaith community would be best to do with. This is a breakfast with faith-based community. I did several of that while I was working with the state assembly. I always thought it was great when you bring the faith-based community together to share breakfast and share some thoughts about the people that we serve. Is elderly folks, people who are 55 and older, who are frail. So our model of care is called PACE, Program of All-Inclusive Care for the Elderly, and it's really becoming the model of medical care in this country. It's in 32 states, plus the District of Columbia, and many people are not aware of it. In fact, there was a news press release this few weeks back from Kaiser. Kaiser is entering into this program of all-inclusive care. It's a very comprehensive care for our elderly folks. So I thought we'll do a breakfast in East County. We have a center in Concord, and I wanted to ask this interfaith community to host it with us. Where, of course, it's our breakfast, but we want to do it in a church, in an environment where the community can come. So that's really the ask. And I sent an email to Reverend Will. Apparently, I don't know if he's still part of the interfaith. Okay. Yeah, so I know way back I've done stuff with him, but yeah, that's really my ask this morning. I don't know how so that's all.
So Uche, just to be clear, you're asking for a faith community to host a breakfast in their church. Is that what you're asking?
Right, in their church.
Okay.
We're of course sponsoring the breakfast. We're doing one in East Oakland too with the faith-based community there. It will be at Allen Temple. So we're working with the faith-based to do that.
And ideally, where would you like? Are you looking for someplace in Concord, in Richmond? Where would you like this to be?
So we'll be doing a separate one in Richmond, because that will be for the West County. So this one will be in East County, Concord, Pleasant Hill, anywhere that.
Antioch, would that work too?
Sorry.
Antioch, that far east or not?
Antioch, we can. It's really in East County, and I tend to defer to advice from the faith-based community, every time I've done, they kind of lead me the right way.
How many people do you usually expect to come to these events?
It's really about who's able to come. We want to know in advance so that our catering folks will make the breakfast accordingly. But 50 people is, we've done stuff like that. We've done 100, we've done less. So,
okay.
Uche, I'm so glad that you came today. Welcome. And I'm trying to think of who you should send a copy of that letter to that you sent to Will. Dave, would you be?
You can send it to me. That's fine. That's fine.
Excellent.
And Uche, you're welcome to join our meetings whenever you're available.
Yeah.
Sure. Appreciate that.
And please do put your the website and your information and contact information in the chat. That would be very helpful.
Sure, will do. Thank you.
Hey, anything else?
Christine?
Yes.
Christine, I've got something from Soja, and this is in regard mainly to people who are in the Concord area and who are Concord voters. Back in March 5th, the Concord City Council passed a resolution for new ordinances on rent stabilization and just cause eviction. And as a backlash, and this has been in the works for 2 years, and kind of a backlash to that, the various landlords in the area have put together a movement to try to do away with those ordinances which have just been passed. And so they're trying to get it on the ballot for November so that it goes to the whole community, even though this has already been passed. So it's a rejection of those ordinances. And they have 30 days to get enough signatures to put it on the ballot. So just beware, and if you can, have your congregations aware not to sign that petition if they're like at Safeway or some other public place asking you for, be very careful as to what you sign. And especially, it might sound good at the time, but it's really something which will undo the great work that has already been done. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Can I give an announcement?
Sure, Ronnie.
Okay. So I work for East Bay Housing Organizations, and May is Affordable Housing Month, where we have a series of events that we host in celebration of the month. And this year, our Faith and Justice Committee is hosting a Faith Lands Development Fair, which is going to be a panel discussion with developers, architects, and consultants that have been a part of faith land development projects. So basically, when a congregation wants to build affordable housing on their property, there's a whole process they have to go through. So we're hosting this event as a way to connect people that want to build on their property with the right developers, with the right architects, with the right consultants. So there's going to be a panel discussion to talk about like the main issues and main topics that come up as they build. And then afterwards, it's going to be a fair where developers are going to have their tables set up where folks can go around and talk about their ideas. This is going to be May 16th from 3 to 6 p.m. at Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church.
Excellent. Thank you, Ronnie. Is there something you can send to the office?
Yeah, so we're working on a flyer right now.
Perfect.
But as soon as it's done, I can send it over.
Excellent. Thank you. Anyone else before we have our wonderful benediction? Okay, our benediction today will be given by Erica Bains of the Sikh
The
community.
only thing, sorry, Christine, is that I wanted to make sure that everybody had the Meaningful Monday program information.
Sorry, yes.
And that's here on the announcements. So Reza is really great about leading that. And that is, those are the two books that they'll be discussing on May 6th.
Thank you. And a reminder to please take a look at all of those announcements because there's very good information in there. And now, Erica.
Thank you, everyone. On April 13, the Sikhs throughout the world will celebrate Vaisakhi with lots of colorful festivities, drums, dancing later in the day, but only after prayers and an oath to the Supreme for starting anew earlier in the day. For centuries, all people from the northern Indian region have celebrated Vaisakhi as a spring and harvest festival, where people gather to give thanks for the bountiful and life support that the Mother Earth provides us. It was during this day in 1699, and at the request of the last living Sikh Guru, 5 individuals of different backgrounds took the oath to start a collective faith, a faith that recognizes all mankind as one race. The Guruji that day asked the festival goers to reflect on the divine essence that resides within each of us, to use the interconnected threads of empathy and compassion that binds and unites us, and asked us to use that to become part of one group. He explained the transformative power of unity, goodness, and brotherhood. Asked the festival goers to break down human-created borders, groupings, and barriers that divide us, and to take an oath to start anew, taking the leap of faith with a prayer to the Lord Shiva to give us the strength to do good, regardless of the obstacles and barriers that we face. The collective faith was called the Khalsa. The pure is what Khalsa means, but also the Guru said the pure saint or the saint soldier, one whose actions mirror the divine and who channels the infinite wellspring of love that dwells within our hearts and serves all those in need, regardless of who they are, and without wielding power over others, one who stands for the injustice to others. This spring, may we all step forward with hearts brimming with love, minds receptive of understanding of others, and spirits attuned to the noble of all intentions, or to the noblest of intentions. And no matter what obstacle we are presented during this year, let's stay resolved to serving others in need and standing up for all injustice against anyone. Amen.
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 Thank you, Erica. That was beautiful. Thank you so much. And as we leave today, let me just remind everyone that we are the ambassadors to our faith communities. And so as such, we want to share this information with them. So go out and share. And best to everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone.